switch circuits on a lighting plan. On the last video on this subject, we did how to put switches, and it was mainly on round light fixtures. So let's do some of those real quick. I'm going to do an arc from somewhere near this switch to the center of that light, and I'm going to continue doing arcs to all the lights in that room. And rather than do an arc from this light to this light, I'm just going to copy this one. And then lastly, I got to do an arc from the light at the vanity to the light overhead. One thing to note here, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on a layer called ceiling grid. And the reason I'm on that is because that was the last thing I was working on, is putting a ceiling grid on here. So what I need to do is change all these lines. I did that wrong. So I'll match the properties of this line and give it the properties of this line. Basically, it puts it on the same layer, line type, and color as this one. What I need to do is switch to that layer. So right now I'm layer ceiling grid, which is the layer that generated this grid. I need to be on layer switch layer. There's a little command in AutoCAD called make objects layer current. So I click on that, and whatever I touch, well, that layer that it's on will become the current layer. So I'm going to touch this, and now you see I'm on switch layer. Of course, another way to do it is you can click on the down arrow here and click on the layer you want to be, and now you're on layer called schedule. But if you don't know the name where you want to be, I just know I want to be on this layer. All I gotta do is select it, and I'm on that layer, whatever it's called. I happen to know that these bathrooms are identical in the mirror of each other, so I'm gonna do a line that spans that wall, and I'm gonna mirror the arcs. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to erase this just to show something that happens. So I'm going to mirror that, mirror that, mirror that, mirror that, and mirror that, and I'm going to mirror the switch. And my mirror point is going to be the center point of that line, and the mirror is going to go that way. And look how nice. All the arrows, all the arcs land in the lights. But what I wanted to show is that, but now my switch is reverse. It's not MS, it's switch motion. So all I have to do is mirror that around the center of the S, close to the center. And we have it done. So we've done this before in part 1. What I wanted to show is how to do light fixtures that are this kind. And what I have here is an example of what not to do. If you can, keep the curves on the same side. So this looks a little better, and always go to the middle of the light fixture. Second, make the arc, don't make the arc too close to the light, because now it kind of, when you print it, becomes part of the geometry. So make sure that you curve it, not too much. That looks ugly to me. So you got to find a happy medium right there. And the same thing here. Don't make it too shallow, because now it looks like a straight line. Make it archy enough to where it looks right. Always, always, always connect to the narrow end. This is not a general international convention you're violating by doing it that way. But you're violating my convention. I don't like it. I just don't like it. That's it. Some people do it, but I'm not some people. There's one crazy people. So let's do this one then. Let's fix this one here. I'm going to move that line to the middle of the light, which because it isn't at the middle of the light, and this one is not in the middle. I was mentioning in another video that I'll notice little things like that. So move it to the middle. That's why AutoCAD gives you snap points. I'm at the middle. So what do I do here? Instead of taking it to the middle there, I'm going to take it to one of the ends. Okay, the middle of the short sides, like that. And now I'm going across the S, and I don't like that. So I'm going to come to this side and put it about there. That looks better to me. Okay. This one, the switch is too much on the wall. I'm going to take it away from the wall a little bit. And now the line's too much on the switch. So I'm going to take it up and away just a little bit. I want it to be close enough to they're connected, but I don't want them on top of each other. I think these guys are right. I think that guy is right. So let's do one that hadn't been done and see how it do it. I would make an arc because which way I'm going to take the switch. The room is so small and 2 lights is probably too much. I'm still going to stick with 2 lights. I'm going to start here and try to make this little arc work. And I like my arc to have enough length to the line type start showing, but when it becomes too big, then it starts to become ugly. So ugly trumps line type. I'm going to put this one and see how they work together. I'm kind of in between here. I wouldn't mind if this was a little shallow, even if I lost my line type. I couldn't see my line type. The line's short enough that you'd almost know here that that line type's the same. So that's how I would do that. I wouldn't do it this way. Yeah, I can do it one of 2 ways. And I always take the switch leg to the side of the light that's nearest the switch. What I mean is the switch is nearest, this switch is nearest to this end and not that end. Rather than doing this, that's going to require some funky curvature. And now the geometry is taking me outside the room, and I don't like that. So, but if I was to do it on that side, then I would have that arc on this side too. It's not the best look, so I'm going to stick with the other one and erase these 2 guys. The lights in the hallway. See, here's one time where you don't stick to the same end when you have a whole bunch of lights on a long hallway like this. So what do I do here? Always, always, always connect to the end, not the long end, the short end, the center of the short end. Always, always, always. Okay, and that's too much arc. I'm just gonna make it a little shallower. And because I know these lights are spaced evenly, instead of drawing the arc over and over, I'm going to copy this arc from light to light to light. This hallway is one entity. This long hallway is one long entity, and then this long hallway, it's its own entity. What I mean by this is when you come in this door or this door, you're going to turn these lights on and only these lights. So there is no need for this hallway lights to be connected here. There's going to be a 3-way switch for this set of lights. That's going to turn these lights only. Because you can enter this hallway from the middle of this hallway. So you can go into this hallway from here, or you can go into this hallway from here if you came in through one of these side doors. So I'm going to make this hallway its own entity with its own set of 3-way switches. And here's one that for sure is going to have such a small arc that the line tab will not show up. I don't want it to look like that. That just doesn't look good to me. So I'm going to make it so that the arc looks nice even though I don't get my line tab. Here we go. So this switch or this switch will turn these lights on or off, but only this little hallway. And the same thing here, either this switch or that switch, three-way switch, it's missing the 3, is gonna turn, so either this switch or this switch is gonna turn these lights on, and now I gotta fix my switch leg so it's not on top of my switch and I can read it. So let's walk down this hallway, and I see that this is a tricky situation. We do not put the switch on the window. This is one of those doors with a side light, so we do not put the switch on this window. I would put it either here or here on an actual wall. Naturally, I think when you come into a room, you look for the switch on the latch side of the door. So this is the latch side of the door. So you look for the switch here, and you would find it on this wall. So now, never, never, never go to the middle of the long side. And if you do, make sure you go to the middle. Don't wing it, because I will find it. So there, I'm going to fix the curvature to where it's enough of a curve that it tells me that. But if I want to see the line type, it's going to get so big that it becomes ugly. So I don't like that. I'm going to undo it and leave it there. That's how you do that. I'm going to fix, oh, I used that reference line earlier. Don't forget to erase your reference lines. One more time. You probably are not going to walk that far into the room, or you don't want to walk that far into the room to find the switch. So I'd actually put the switch here. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees so it sits that way. I'm going to get it off the wall a little bit, and then I'm going to connect it to the end, or to the middle of the short end, not the middle of the long end. Too much curvature, maybe. This one's also too curvy. Let's make it a little shallower. And something tells me this is not in the middle. Let's see. Yeah, it was. All right. And so that room looks good. Here's another one. This one's tricky. It really isn't room here to put it, even though it appears to be, but there's 3 studs there, and there's no cavity to put the switch into. So I'm going to do it this way and put it on here. So you open the door, you look for here, the switch is in there, so you naturally go to the other side, and you will find it there. I want to keep these on the same side unless I absolutely can't. It's going to be difficult to go to this side and make a curve so it doesn't cross through the light or doesn't go outside the room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it to this end of the light. Kind of move the line a little bit to the side there to make it a little better. Make this curve a little shallower so that I can flip this curve over to the other side